one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
Bloodline.
I would say so. I-back formation for the Wildcats. Handoff once again up the middle to Shipley. Spins away from one man, broke away from another tackle, and out past the 30-yard line goes Shipley. And taken out there. Although flag back close to the 27-yard line.
Well, it looked like a couple guys behind the play got into it.
And it's a personal foul on the Sherwood defense, so tack 15 yards on to the end of run. And Wilsonville nicely moving out of it deep in their own territory.
Not sure, but I think maybe number 25, Scott Skirdall, may have mixed it up just a little bit. I'm guessing that's the player that got nailed with the penalty. It was well after the play. Skirdall heading to the sideline, probably get a little chat from the coaching staff about how unnecessary something like that is. But Shipley's run there, Fletcher, was something that the coaches for Sherwood have talked to their kids about. You know, first contact does not always bring this guy down. They've got to finish the play.
His escapability has certainly shown itself so far this evening, as Heiberger will once again hand it off to Shipley. Bounce it out to the right. Not getting away this time, though, is Mickey Schaefer in on the tackle, and he'll be taken down for a 3-yard loss.
Mickey Schaefer playing the outside linebacker position. It's all about reading the keys and making sure that they stick to that. Shipley on an inside handoff looking for something inside the tackles, but tried to bounce it outside. And Schaefer was there to take Shipley down for a loss.
2nd down and 12, so they rule it only a loss of 2. 10 minutes, 15 seconds left. Clock running in the second quarter. 13-0, Sherwood with the lead. Pleasure to have you along here on PlayOn Sports. Fletcher Johnson, Jim Patterson here with you. As Shipley will take the pitch. Once again, in on the tackle for Sherwood is big number 54, Harrison Shelburne.
He has been in the backfield pretty much the entire first quarter and now into the second quarter. And it's real simple. He is just beating his man off the snap. Shelburne has been very active here early in the game.
Wilsonville started this drive at their own 3-yard line. It's now 3rd down and 12. Make it 3rd down and 13 at their own 44. We have a stoppage, and it will be a timeout for the Wildcats. We'll take it as well. 9 minutes, 30 seconds left in the second quarter. Sherwood on top, 13-0.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Back live with you, Fletcher Johnson, Jim Patterson on the PlayOn Sports Network, bringing you 5A action from the state of Oregon as the number 1 team in 5A, Sherwood, taking on the number 4 team in 5A in the Wilsonville Wildcats, a rivalry that has been very one-sided as of late. 7 wins straight for the Sherwood Bowmen. Wilsonville trying to break that streak. Jim, the last time the Wildcats won back in 2004 in the state championship game.
Yeah, it was a 37-13 win by the Wildcats in 2004, and since then, the cupboard has been bare in terms of wins against Greg Lawrence and the Sherwood Bowmen. They'd like to change all that tonight.
So Sherwood, after Wilsonville's timeout, will take a timeout of their own. And really, Sherwood has done a good job so far of keeping in check Tanner Shipley and Ryan Walsh. Johnny Reagan hasn't even seen the ball yet this evening.
Well, and like I talked about, I mean, this really, in games like this where you're playing against such a good defense, and Sherwood, quite frankly, has the same issue. But Wilsonville, clearly, they've got some go-to guys. And the game plan defensively for the Bowmen will be to stop those guys, take the ball out of their hands, make the team beat you someplace else. Sherwood, on the other hand, with so many weapons, you're not really sure where they're going to come from, and no real big superstars other than Christian Morris, who a lot of folks know, but they can go 2, 3, even 4 guys deep in the offensive backfield. So from a game planning perspective, Sherwood's got a little easier task, and now it's all about Coach Gunther getting some of those other fellas to step it up a little bit and help take the pressure off the two big guys. Play action pass, get the ball in the air a little bit. That would be a good idea. Weather might dictate that a little bit because it is raining, and it's raining pretty hard.
It's coming down hard, temperature about 50 degrees. And just as we're about to start play once again, Wilsonville, I believe, will take their third and final timeout of the first half. So,
well, this is rivalry gamesmanship right here. And I'm not quite sure what the coaches could be talking about other than the fact that this is a third down. Obviously, they want to convert because a score here, after all that's happened so quickly with Sherwood coming out with all the momentum, a score here would be huge because in theory they could go down at halftime only by 6, which in a game like this is not too bad. So to burn those timeouts, we've had 3 timeouts in a row. It's a rivalry game. I told you, weird things happen.
As we take a look at the light stanchion, you can see how hard the rain is coming down. But 9.5 minutes left here in the second quarter, and Wilsonville's already burned all their timeouts for the first half. 2 before they've taken this snap, a third down and 13 play from the 44-yard line. Looks like we will finally be ready to go here.
And watch Shipley in the slot.
He will come in motion over to the left. Balfour coming on the safety blitz as Heiberger will look deep. This one intercepted by Christian Morris. So 2 timeouts called. They don't do the job for Adam Gunther. And Heiberger throws an interception. Bowmen ball at their own 25.
Well, they try to use Shipley as a decoy. Everybody in the place is thinking, well, they're going to send him in motion. They're going to try to get the ball to him in space. No, that's not what they do. They go backside. Christian Morris did a great job of staying deeper than the deepest guy, and the pass by Heiberger was simply overthrown. Easy interception for Christian Morris.
Christian Morris, really the story of the game thus far, has 1 touchdown, also has a big kickoff return on the opening kickoff of the game that set up the Bowmen's first touchdown, returned it all the way back to the 7-yard line. And the handoff for the Bowmen will come up the middle, and moving the ball out across the 40-yard line, close to the 42, is big number 25, Scott Skirtle.
Little inside counter play with a great fake to the fullback, and then Skirtle from a halfback position on the little counter. Some great backside blocking by that Bowmen offensive line. Travis Katowski gets a good block on that left side along with the tight end. Number 42, that's Jacob Brooks. And Wilsonville just getting caught looking for the football in the wrong place, and Skirtle with a big gain.
This time handoff will go to Skirtle once again. Out across the 45-yard line to the 47, a gain of about 5.
Nick Rowlands, the center, a pretty highly decorated kid in 5A. Really key to what happens as kind of the captain of that offensive line, and he's done a great job along with the big guys up front for Sherwood. They have been dominant so far in the game.
Second down and 5 for the Bowmen. Handoff this time quickly up the middle and out close to a first down goes Mickey Schaefer.
Well, and Rowlands right there on that play with a little quick trap play, and he simply takes his guy left as Schaefer cuts right off the backside with the lead block. So Rowlands moving his guys around almost on cue. Number 51 doing his work.
And Sherwood has certainly dominated in the interior of that line here throughout the first half of this game as we roll under 8 minutes left to go in the second quarter with the Bowmen leading 13-0. Mooney splits wide out to the right. And the counter play once again will be taken by Skirtle, and looks like he's able to fall forward for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like from where the officials have spotted the ball, White Hat comes in and signals first down for Sherwood. So this is one of those drives, Fletcher, where they're happy to take the football in their end of the field after the Morris interception and just control and drive the ball down the field against this Wildcat defense.
Have not yet seen Christian Morris get the ball on this drive. Wouldn't be surprised to see it sometime in the near future, as he's that left wing back who is in motion right now. Handoff will go up the middle to Schaefer. He's got a lot of room to work. And touchdown Sherwood, although flagged down behind the play.
Well, my guess is that it's going to be a hold on the backside. Sherwood has run this play very effectively. It's the wraparound. It's a deception play where Balfour goes sprint out, pass action. He slips the ball around to Mickey Schaefer. And, of course, everybody in the ballpark missed Schaefer, but there was a holding penalty on the Bowmen side of the field, and so all of that for naught. They put a bullet in the gun, they pull the trigger, they score, but now it all comes back, and Wilsonville's fans are real happy about that.
So yeah, big time call by the officials. That moves the ball back, and it will be 1st down and 17 as the foul occurred 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So the ball moved from the spot of the foul back into Bowmen territory at their own 46-yard line. Joseph Balfour done a magnificent job orchestrating this offense thus far. The senior quarterback will hand it off to Skirdahl. Nearly gets back to the original line of scrimmage, back across midfield to the Wilsonville 48.
Well, and on that previous play with the hold, the frustrating part for the offense is clearly that the hold actually happened behind the play. Schaefer was already 15 yards down the field, but it was such a quick hitter, and unfortunately for Sherwood, the official was right there to be able to see the hold. But as they do so many times, you know, they'll put 2 or 3 different people in the backfield. They've run Vernon Johnson on at the wide receiver. So Sherwood is just loaded, and they've got lots of players, lots of kids with lots of experience, and they'll just wear opponents down in most of the football games.
They'll pitch it, and this is an incomplete pass as Balfour pitched it forward. You hear the Wilsonville fans in the background. They don't realize that the ball was pitched forward.
Well, a great job by the defensive line for Wilsonville, and this is where they're really stepping up. I mean, this thing could have gotten away very quickly, but the defense has done a pretty darn good job. Tanner Crooks there was one of the guys that kind of gummed things up along with 54, Tyler Branson. So Wilsonville defensively stepping up here, and that's exactly what they need to do. Now a 3rd down and long yardage, so they're looking for the stop and their offense to get the ball back and maybe get a touchdown or some score here before the end of the half.
Wilsonville really led by their linebackers as flag comes out. And there will be a delay of game on the Bowmen, so push them 5 yards further back. That'll set up 3rd down and 17 at the Bowmen 46-yard line.
Well, you can see the back judge. If the back judge puts his hand up in the air, that signals you've got 5 seconds to get a playoff, and they just did not. Joseph Balfour, or the quarterback, supposed to be looking downfield at that back judge to try and avoid that delay of game penalty. So now they've put themselves in a position where they make it a little harder here on 3rd down.
Wilsonville, as I mentioned, was really led by their linebackers, Johnny Reagan, Gunnar Pullman, Tanner Crooks, Cooper Whitaker, and Brax You'd run the 3-5 defense. As flag comes out from the back judge once again, and it looks like Sherwood has called their 3rd and final timeout of the first half before the delay of game.
Yeah.
So 6 minutes, 23 seconds left here in the first half. Sherwood on top 13-0. Crucial 3rd down for this Wilsonville defense as they, as Jim mentioned, hope to get the ball back before halftime and try and put something on the board. But I think if you're Adam Gunther and the Wilsonville coaching staff, given the way the game started, you have to be pretty happy to be down only 13-0.
No question about it, because this thing started off with Morris taking the kick almost 70-plus yards, almost scored. They get the ball, first play, boom, Schaefer in for a touchdown. Sherwood gets the ball back in the second series, boom, touchdown. Now they missed the extra point, so now it's only 13-0. And since that time, Wilsonville's defense has really kind of stepped it up. They've been able to stop Sherwood for the most part. Sherwood's made some mistakes. And when's the last time you saw both teams before the end of the half call all their timeouts?
Yeah, 6.5 minutes before the end of the half. Handoff will go up the middle to Morris, who's near that first down. It looks like they will mark him down at the 39-yard line of Wilsonville. It'll be 4th down and 2, and decision time for Greg Lawrence.
I don't think there's any question. They'll go for it on 4th down. They ran the counter crisscross to Christian Morris, so it's basically a double fake by the quarterback. One of the halfbacks goes to the left. Christian Morris goes to the right and picked up big yardage there, and Sherwood will line it up and go for it on 4th.
So 4th down and 2. Schaefer is able to get the first down. He got grabbed behind the line of scrimmage, it looked, by Heiberger, but was unable to take him down. He picks up yardage down to about the 34-yard line.
And that's just classic Sherwood football. 3rd down, 16 yards to go. You know, most teams are probably going to be in a position where they figure they've got to at least get half of it by throwing the ball. Not the Bowmen. Run it, hand the ball off to one of your good players, then pick up the short yardage 4th down.
Handoff will once again go to Schaefer, and it looks like he ran over one of the linebackers and takes the ball down to the 26-yard line, a pickup of 8 yards.
Yeah, I think the ball was actually dislodged from Schaefer. It was on the turf, and fortunately for him, he fell right on top of it along with the Wilsonville defender. So probably a break there for Sherwood inside the 30-yard line of the Wildcats.
Schaefer bounced right off of Tanner Crooks right at the line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and 2, 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half. Handoff will go up the middle to Morris. This time, that Wilsonville defense reads it a bit better as Gunnar Pullman in on the tackle, although it's good enough for a first down.
Well, and Fletcher, to complicate matters, Balfour can actually hand the ball off to Skirdal, who then on an inside handoff hands the ball off to Morris. So they've got so many variations, and to practice for that, to line up against a team that does this when you see the spread, you see a classic eye. This is really not what they see a lot, and it's just tough to defend.
Handoff will go to Morris going right. Busts through the hole on the outside and gets down to the 15-yard line. Some good blocking on the outside by the Bowmen wide receivers and that tight end as well.
Well, and I'm sure Christian Morris, along with a lot of other players, including guys for Wilsonville, are kind of happy this is a close game because they're going to get to play more. We talked about this early in the game that a lot of times both these teams have been so far ahead of their opponents, even in the second quarter and the beginning of the third. A lot of the starters don't play a full game. In a rivalry game like this, you can expect kids to play quite a while.
Handoff up the middle to Schaefer, and he's taken down by Brax Yude, among others. Yude, the transfer into Wilsonville. Adam Gunther really thought he could make a difference for this Wilsonville team, and he's done some good things. Forced a fumble so far this year on the defensive side of the ball. Also plays wide receiver for the Wildcat offense. So 1st down and 10 at the 12-yard line. 3.5 minutes left to go before half, with Sherwood leading 13-0. Be really big for the Bowmen and would really hurt the Wilsonville side if they gave up a touchdown here. Handoff goes to Skirdal. Nice tackle in the open field by Johnny Reagan for no gain.
Johnny Reagan has been a dominant defensive player. And you can tell that he's very, very good shedding blockers, pursuing the football. A big kid, very physical, and a good job there to get Skirdal down to the ground without a big gain.
Reagan, the other highly sought-after player on this Wilsonville side, has offers from BYU, Oregon State, and Portland State. As Balfour will drop the throw, he's now going to run it, and a nice play on the outside by Yude to be able to fight off of his block. Skirdal was out there trying to block off Yude, but he makes a great play to take down Balfour for after a gain of about a yard.
Well, and one of the reasons the coaches for the Bowmen are very pleased with Joe Balfour is that, as you mentioned, he very effectively runs the offense, and on that play, he makes a good decision not to try to force something into a window, a small pocket. They want to make sure that somehow they get some points out of this drive. So just a really good play by Joe Balfour to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake and throw an interception.
3rd down and 9, clock now under 2 minutes left to go before halftime. It's a problem you run into. You can tell one of those Wilsonville coaches trying to tell his players something, and the handoff will go on that reverse play And Morris walks into the end zone relatively untouched. The handoff from Balfour went to Skirdall. Skirdall, in turn, handed it off to Morris on the reverse, if you will. Morris walks in for his second touchdown of the game, 19-0 Sherwood.
Well, Greg Lawrence, 19 years, the head coach at Sherwood, and their philosophy is we keep running the ball until the opponent will stop it. And Wilsonville, here early in the game, has really not had an answer to stop the offense.
They will go for two since Elena missed the extra point on the last try, and Balfour fumbles the snap, I should say, and just eats it. So the score will remain 19-0. Minute 45 left before the half. Wilsonville will get the ball back next here on Play on Sports. And we are back at Randall Stadium. Just a minute 45 left before the half. Christian Morris's 11-yard touchdown run has extended the lead out to 19 for the number one team in 5A, the Sherwood Bowmen. And really, Wilsonville needs to try and put something on the board here before the break, Jim.
Well, Sherwood has missed an extra point, and they've missed the two-point conversion. So it hasn't been all, Sherwood. They've made some mistakes, and in a game like this, every one of those points counts. So Wilsonville has to look at it and say, look, if we could get a score of some kind here before the end of the half, they go in with some momentum. They've got to do something in the second half to get this crowd into the game. They could really use that 12th man right now.
Absolutely. 3 touchdown, though, for the Bowmen, as the kickoff will be taken by Shipley at his 20. Trying to make something happen, but great downfield coverage on the kickoff, taken down at the 27-yard line by the Bowmen. In on the tackle, Vernon Johnson.
Yeah, Vernon Johnson down quickly to make a very sure tackle. That's one of the things that has impressed me early, especially against the big backs, Shipley and Reagan. Sherwood has been very fundamentally sound with their open field tackling, and that just adds to how much more difficult it's been for Wilsonville to catch any breaks here.
That interception on the last drive for Nick Heiberger was his first of the season. As they will run the reverse, the pitch to Walsh. Walsh, quick couple moves, and he breaks a couple tackles into the open field and out to midfield. See, and this is one of those positions where if you're Adam Gunther, you might be a little upset you burned all your timeouts.
Yeah, you don't have any timeouts. The clock continues to run. It'll stop as they move the chains. But the minute they get the box set and the chains are set, the clock winds. Great play there by Walsh, who made a good open field move to fake Jacob Brooks out, who actually had done a good job of staying home on the backside, but Walsh with a great move and a first down for the Wildcats.
Minute 15 and the clock running left in the first half. Heiberger under center, ball at midfield. He'll look down the field, and the pressure comes up the middle right away from Jake Reamer, who picks up his second sack on the air. Make it the third, as he had one earlier. So the 5-yard loss, make it a 7-yard loss, will set up second down at 17, now under a minute to play.
Well, it's pretty clear that Wilsonville knows they need to move Shipley around into different places on the field. But the frustrating part for the Wilsonville faithful is every time Heiberger drops back to pass, that Sherwood pass rush and Reamer in particular are there to put heavy pressure on the quarterback.
Came from that left side of the offensive line, anchored by Matt Merrick, who started 2 years for this team, as Heiberger will once again drop the throw. He'll look down the field, nothing there. He'll just tuck it and run and be taken out at the 46, make it the 47-yard line, so third down and long.
Great defense downfield by that defensive secondary. Jordan Scobo playing at the corner position here on the right side. Cyrus Mooney along with Balfour playing the deep safeties. And it was just good coverage downfield. We did have a flag on the field. It looks like it will be against Wilsonville as the white hat talks to the Sherwood defense.
And it's a holding on the Wilsonville offensive line. So push the ball back 10 yards from the spot of the foul. And it's all the way back inside the 35-yard line to the 34.
That's one of those tough plays where the quarterback breaks the pocket and those offensive linemen start to get a little bit nervous because their job is pass protection, reach out and get a grab, and the official calls the hold.
So it's now 2nd down and 26 after the penalty. As Heiberger will drop the throw. Hand it off on the draw to Walsh. Nothing doing as the Bowmen defensive line right there to take any of that nonsense away.
Logan Smith on the defense, 6'2", 250, a senior for the Bowmen. Snuffed that play out from the very beginning. And now Wilsonville will just be happy to say, let's go in and talk about it at halftime.
Take it into the half. All Sherwood here in the first half. 19-0. They lead the Wilsonville Wildcats. We'll have the halftime show coming up for you from the Wilsonville faithful. And then the second half of action about 15 minutes from now here on PlayOn Sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
Football fans, the Great American Rivalry Series would like to take a moment to honor the top scholar athletes from each school. Again, football fans, the Great American Rivalry Series would like to take a moment to honor the top scholar athletes from each school. As part of the series, we'll be presenting each player with a college scholarship in recognition of their academic achievement and athletic excellence. To recognize these athletes, they work hard on and off the field as role models. The Great American Rivalry Series is proud to honor the senior player holding the highest academic standing from each team. And from Sherwood, the Scholar Athlete honoree is Jacob Brooks. Presenting his award is Sergeant Willers. Congratulations, Jacob. From Wilsonville High School, the Scholar Athlete honoree is Johnny Reagan. Johnny is the team landing the varsity football team number 11 at track last spring. He was selected as a honorable mention linebacker and running back last season. Johnny was district runner-up in the long jump and placed in that event in the state meet. He is accompanied by his mother, Ruth Ray.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Hang around, we're going to have the Wilsonville High School dance team out here. We're watching the music, we're working on it. Also, the field goal contest conducted by Wilsonville High School ASB leadership class. Don't forget to get up there and do your chin-ups, pull-ups, owie. Help out your team win a trophy at the end of the evening for those chin-ups. You only have until the end of the third quarter to do them, so hold and see the greens. Dancers, get ready. We've got your music now. Still having technical difficulties, so hang on. Almost there, I promise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give a big warm round of applause for your Wilsonville Pride dancers. Conducted by the Wilsonville High School Associated Student Body and Leadership Class. You only have another quarter to get those done and help win an award and a trophy for your school. Here's some scores. It's Bend 6 and Redmond 7 the first quarter. Liberty at Sandy. It's Liberty 14, Sandy 7. Milwaukee 22, Park Rose 0. Putnam 18, St. Helens 6. And Hermiston 34, the Gals are down to 0.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
And back live at Randall Stadium for the second half of action here between Wilsonville and Sherwood. It was all Bowmen in the first half. They lead at 19-0 here at the break. And Jim, Adam Gunther and Wilsonville need to try to get something going here, as they have put together some things but really haven't been able to really march the ball into Sherwood territory.
Well, when your best players are essentially taken out of the game, because it's pretty clear the Bowmen have game planned to stop Tanner Shipley, to stop Reagan, to put pressure on Heiberger when he's in passing formation. So they're going to need to move those guys around. My guess is that they will try to attack the Bowmen defense with Reagan and Shipley in other positions, try to get the ball more to those guys in space along with Walsh so they can make some athletic plays, because somehow they've got to figure out a way to get back into this game. Right now, only being down 19-0, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, when this game started, it was very clear all the momentum was on the visiting side of the field. The crowd here at Randall Stadium got taken out of the game right away. Wilsonville struggled to get anything going on offense. It's really been their defense and some mistakes by Sherwood, a holding penalty on a Schaefer touchdown off the board. So Wilsonville, they're right there. It's a rivalry contest, big game, anything can happen, but they're going to have had to make some adjustments at halftime. It'll be interesting to see how they decide they're going to attack Sherwood offensively.
Both teams in this wet weather have done a pretty good job of holding on to the ball. Just one fumble. It was on a 2-point conversion for Sherwood that Joseph Balfour, the quarterback, fell on. If you're Sherwood coach Greg Lawrence, how do you feel about your team's performance in the first half?
Well, I think he has to be really excited about the way the kids came out to start the game. Clearly, when you go on the road, one of the things you want to do in a big game like this, take the home crowd out of the game. And with a big kickoff return, special teams comes out and does their job right away. Your big guy, Christian Morris, really carries the weight for you. And your defense plays pretty well. You put a goose egg on the board in the first half. So other than cleaning up a couple of those mistakes, I think he's got to be very happy with the way the Bowmen played the first half.
Wilsonville declined after they won the coin toss before the first half. So they will receive to start the second half, as it will be Tyler Booth to kick off for Sherwood. And back deep to receive the tandem of Ryan Walsh and Tanner Shipley. Walsh also quiet, did have one big run. He's really the all-purpose guy, though, for Wilsonville, over 1,100 yards all-purpose. And the ball fumbled by Wilsonville on that little pooch kick. It looks like they were able to get back on it, though, so Wilsonville will start at their 45-yard line, but some scary moments here to start the second half.
Well, and one of the things that's really interesting is Sherwood has done that a lot this year, where they go with that pooch kick, and typically teams get the ball in really good field position. This time, Wilsonville starts off at their own 45. What that tells me is Sherwood has a lot of confidence in that defense.
So Nick Heiberger not his best first half of action. He looks to get things going here in the second half, and will have 3 backs behind him to start things off. Handoff will go to Reagan up the middle. So Reagan, after not touching the ball in the first half, gets his first carry on the first offensive play for Wilsonville, and he picks up about 2.5 yards.
Now they go power I, 2 lead blockers for Reagan right off tackle. Try to establish some sort of physical presence, a 3-yard gain here on first down. And again, they're within reach. They've got 2 full quarters of football, the Wildcats do, to get themselves back in it. Big opportunity here on the first series of the second half to score.
Fake the handoff to Reagan. Pressure comes up the middle. Reamer once again as Heiberger escapes, fumbles the ball though. Who gets back on top of it? Sherwood ball. Big play by the Bowmen defense, and they take over just something that Wilsonville could not have happen.
Well, a busted play where Heiberger wants to throw the football. Again, the coverage downfield great by the Bowmen defense. So Heiberger breaks the pocket, and as he breaks the pocket running to the left side of the field, he gets hit. The ball goes down on the turf. It actually took a couple players to finally fall on it, and the referees determined Sherwood gets it. So a big play to start the second half.
And Reamer started it all with the pressure up the middle. Handoff will go to Schaefer as he picks up 4 yards on first down.
Colin Cubbage on the tackle, one of the guys in there.
And down on the play, Chase Hyde, the senior 6'3", 230-pounder, rolling around. Looks like he's in some pain. So Schaefer with the touchdown in the first half had that carry there, and Sherwood back in business. So especially those pooch kicks really don't hurt you when your defense can turn the other team over.
Well, and that's one of the things that's pretty evident, and it has been throughout this season. They've executed those little onside, pooch kick, whatever you want to call it, and most teams get great field position, but Sherwood proves that they can put enough pressure on offensive teams, cause the turnover, and they wind up getting the ball in their opponent's territory.
That was Wilsonville's 6th turnover on the season. Still +4 in turnover margin. Actually been pretty good with the ball this year. Sherwood, on the other hand, is +6 in the turnover margin category, but have turned the ball over 9 times themselves, but have created 15 turnovers to take advantage of as well. And Sherwood with a 19-point lead, something you don't want to do is give them the ball with the opportunity to keep running that clock, because they are very potent with the amount of backs that they have available to them.
Well, they can keep the ball and run an offense that's more ball control, more possession control, but they also have, as we've seen, the ability to strike very quickly. One play to a Mickey Schaefer or a Christian Morris, they can take the ball to the house from 35 yards just like that. So Wilsonville really right now, this is a critical point in the football game, because they've turned the ball back over after getting it first in the second half, and now they've got to rise up and try to get the ball back, keep the Bowmen from scoring any additional points here.
As Hyde is up, but keeled over right now, and not quite sure what the issue is. Might have had his bell rung a little bit, it looks like, as he's getting helped off the field. So nice to see the young man up. We are under 11 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Just underway in the second half. Fletcher Johnson, Jim Patterson with you here on PlayOn Sports. Here with you every week, as it's been pretty cool to be able to bring you these games in a webcast variety. Just get these kids a little bit notoriety. As we mentioned, there's a lot of kids who are getting a lot of looks here on both of these squads, as Sherwood will once again come out 2nd down and 7 from the Wilsonville 38. Handoff will go to Morris going right. Gets through the first line of defense. Will use that speed, and Christian Morris has his 3rd touchdown on the night.
And Christian Morris, the ultimate team guy, because we've talked about this, he doesn't really get a lot of carries in most games, but he is making and taking advantage of every carry he's getting in this football game. That time the explosive speed, and from 30-plus yards, just like that, Christian Morris in the end zone for the touchdown.
38-yard run by Christian Morris. his 12th touchdown on the season and 3rd here this evening, as the Bowmen will once again go for 2. Handoff to Morris, who will hand it back the other way to Skirtle, I believe that is, who walks into the end zone. So Wilsonville having a tough time defending that play, and Sherwood now on top 27-0. We'll jump out to the break and continue on next here on Play On Sports. So a 38-yard touchdown run by Christian Morris has pushed Sherwood further out in front, 27-0, 10:44 left in the 3rd quarter here at Randall Stadium at Wilsonville High School. Fletcher Johnson, Jim Patterson here with you. And Sherwood, opportunistic defensively, created the turnover and took advantage.
Absolutely did, and handed the ball off and counted on Christian Morris, who scores from 38 yards.
Lena will kick this one off. It's just covered up by Chow at the 42-yard line. So once again, good starting field position for Wilsonville, but they really haven't been able to do anything so far here throughout the course of this game. We've seen them put a couple plays together, but they really haven't been able to get anything consistently offensively, but you really have to credit Jake Reamer, who has had a big game tonight in that Sherwood defense.
Well, and you have to credit the defensive coaches for the Bowmen and the players, because they really have played a very fundamentally sound football game and have really stopped Wilsonville at every turn.
Heiberger will pitch to Shipley, and Shipley can find nowhere to run. He's taken down back at the 40-yard line. Andrew Rice in on the tackle, who has certainly played well, the 5'9", 185-pound junior. So it will be 2nd down and close to 11. They'll call it 10. But Wilsonville really struggling to get anything going here as we're about to go under 10 minutes in the 3rd quarter. As push them 5 yards further back, Reagan moved a bit. So 5-yard penalty, be a 2nd down and 15 now for the Wildcats.
Well, it's difficult enough to get yourself back in the game, but then to have the kind of mental mistakes that really an illegal procedure is makes it even that much more difficult. And don't get us wrong, I mean, Wilsonville throughout this season up to this point has had a very explosive, very productive offense, and this is really more about the Sherwood defense tonight.
Heiberger faked the handoff, drop back to pass. Pressure comes, he just has to dump it at the feet of Reagan as 2 Bowman defenders were in there. Reamer once again having a heck of a ball game, and also Harrison Shelburne.
Well, Heiberger has just been under pressure and duress every single time he has either dropped back or rolled out right or left side. Sherwood's defense just relentless and in quick pursuit. And the other thing, the linebackers covering the backs out of the backfield, and the corners have done a great job with downfield coverage. It's just been a great defensive performance so far by the #1 ranked team in the state, Sherwood.
Shipley will take the Wildcat snap. He'll run it up the middle, find some room, and able to get the ball out to midfield. He'll be about 2 yards short of the 1st down. And you would have to believe, trailing 27-0 in the 3rd quarter, that Wilsonville will go for this one.
Well, and I like what they did to get Shipley in a different situation where it's not the classic handoff from the quarterback, but they put him in that Wildcat. And one of the things he's done so effectively out of that formation is he is a running back, and a good one is able to see what's happening, where the open spots are up front. And because they come out in it again, Sherwood wants to call timeout.
So Tanner Shipley, there in that shotgun formation, taking that Wildcat snap, created a timeout from Greg Lawrence and the Sherwood defense here on a crucial 4th down. And you could argue that with the way Sherwood has played on offense here, especially at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and early in the ball game that this could really be the dagger if Wilsonville cannot convert this 4th down.
Well, there isn't anything, Fletcher, that leads me to believe that if another score goes up that Wilsonville will have anything in terms of an answer. So this 4th down conversion is critical because the team really needs to get something that lifts their spirits. And Shipley's the guy that can do it. He is an electric type of player. I talked with Greg Lawrence about, again, what are the things that really caused you the most concern about this Wilsonville team? And he mentioned to me that in one game that he watched on film, Shipley ran the ball 25 yards to one side of the field, and when nothing was there, reversed course, ran all the way across the other side of the field, and took the ball 50 yards in for a touchdown. So this guy can get the job done, and let's see if he can do it here on this critical 4th down.
In that Wildcat formation, once again, we'll take the snap, fake the handoff, run to the outside. He'll have the 1st down and is eventually pushed out of bounds as he gets down inside the 45-yard line of Sherwood. So a crucial 4th down conversion there for Wilsonville, and it's picked up by their man, Tanner Shipley.
And that should tell you something about how much Sherwood respects what Tanner Shipley can do. Everybody in this place knew he was going to get the ball, and they knew he was going to run the football, and yet Sherwood was not able to stop him on that 4th down. So I think they may be onto something, and let's see if they continue to try to put their key players in different positions on the field to attack that Bowmen defense.
Shipley will once again be in that Wildcat formation to take the snap. He has Reagan to his right. He'll run the option, try and cut it up the middle, hops over the pile, but nothing there for Shipley this time as he loses about a half a yard. One of the things that's interesting to me is we know Sherwood gets things done on the ground. For Wilsonville, they're slightly more balanced, average over 100 yards of passing a game. How much has the weather affected what the Wildcats have wanted to do here tonight, do you think?
I mean, I think it affects them a little bit. I noticed during the pregame warm-up the quarterbacks had a tough time holding on to the football. Heiberger in particular just didn't look like he felt comfortable. And we saw on really the first downfield pass that they tried where Morris came up with the interception. The ball just looked underthrown. He hasn't looked comfortable. And then when he's tried to throw, he's had so much pressure. So I think they're definitely out of the game plan they were hoping for.
Shipley will take the snap. He'll throw it downfield this time, looking for Heiberger, who is wide open, running across the formation. But Shipley's pass too far out in front, and it will be 3rd down and 11 for the Wildcats.
Well, and that's asking Tanner to do a whole lot because he's going to carry the football very effectively, but now you try to put him in a position where he's got to throw the ball. That's not something he does a lot. And then to roll him to the left side as a righty, that's even more difficult.
Yeah, Tanner Shipley thrown 3 passes on the year coming into tonight for 58 yards. So 3rd down and 11. As Shipley, as we've become accustomed to here on this drive, in that Wildcat formation, this time hands it off to Walsh, who will get down inside the 35-yard line to the 34, right at that 1st down stick. We'll await the call of whether or not it's a 1st down from our head referee, Mike Besner. And it is a 1st down, so a big 3rd down conversion for Wilsonville. Ryan Walsh on the 11-yard run.
Well, and in this series, Fletcher, doesn't it seem like Wilsonville's got a little more pep in their step, a little bit more explosive? They've been able to pick up some big yards, and it's because they've went away from the traditional what they do, and they've got Shipley essentially running the offense.
Shipley will hand it off to Walsh once again, getting to the outside. And he is eventually pushed out of bounds on that far side of the field, down at about the 27.
See, here's what that does when you put the ball in his hand on every snap. The defense has to honor that he may keep it. So now he's in a position where he's distributing the ball, not quite sure where it's going to come from defensively or that he might throw. So I think that's really kind of thrown Sherwood off defensively. May not have been something that they would prepare for, that Wilsonville would just commit to and run every single down.
And Shipley, offers from Oregon State, BYU, Wyoming, and Northern Colorado, will take the handoff up the middle here, breaks a couple arm tackles, busted outside. What a run by Tanner Shipley, and he's into the end zone. Wilsonville on the board, 27-6. Heck of a run by Tanner Shipley, Jim.
Well, just electric player. I mean, we've talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast, and I really felt like it was going to take something where Wilsonville changed things up significantly, and they found an answer because Sherwood, throughout this entire drive, really had a difficult time with Shipley taking direct snaps and putting that ball in his hands. That time, he eluded tacklers, broke tackles. Great play by Tanner Shipley to get the Wildcats on the board.
The extra point up and through from Wilsonville's Jackson Chase. So it took until 7:39 left in the third quarter for Wilsonville to get on the board, but they finally are 27-7 on the 27-yard run by Tanner Shipley.
Well, and I give Coach Gunther a lot of credit because, you know, at some point in the game, even though you've game planned a certain way, you have to recognize that what we're doing isn't working. We're going to need to break the mold a little bit, maybe do some things that are not a part of our tendency. And while Sherwood knows that Shipley has run out of the Wildcat, they win exclusively Wildcat, Tanner Shipley distributing the football, keeping the football, and now it becomes much more difficult to defend. He becomes a triple threat. He can hand off, he can pass the football, or he can keep it as he did there. That's tough to defend when you're playing against a kid of Shipley's caliber.
Certainly is, and we can see if that offensive performance from Wilsonville picks up their defense at all, who played very well in the first half. Sherwood has gotten the better of them so far here in the second half after a touchdown drive on a long Christian Morris run. But Wilsonville will kick off. Last time they did, they kicked it to Christian Morris, and he took it back to the 7-yard line. This time they'll keep it away from him, taken back at the 10-yard line. Man finds a hole up the middle, and he's off to the races again. That's Balfour. Balfour breaks the tackle of the kicker and taken down at the 22-yard line. So one big return after another for Sherwood. 2 kickoffs for Wilsonville, and they haven't been able to cover them.
Well, and if there's a way to really break the will and spirit of an opponent that's trying to get back in a game, it's take the kickoff, the ensuing kickoff after a Wilsonville score, and run it down to the Wilsonville 22-yard line, where now that explosive offense gets to work from inside close to the red zone. Just a great run back and a great job of blocking on special teams, and Wilsonville again burned on kick returns to put themselves in a hole.
Handoff goes up the middle, stuffed up by the center of the Wilsonville defense for a loss of about 2 to 3 yards on the play. But Balfour really didn't even have to make a move. He made one cut, and he was off to the races. And product of Wilsonville maybe out-kicking the coverage a bit and not staying in their lane sets up Sherwood deep in Wilsonville territory. A good stop on first down, though, by the Wildcats.
Well, one of the things you coach those guys who return kicks is you want them hitting that wedge, those blockers, at full speed, because all it takes is a little seam, and you could go.
Christian Morris gets the handoff, taken down on the far side of the field. Brax Yude in there, also along with Tanner Crooks. So 2 stops for the Wilsonville D. Sets up 3rd down and long for Sherwood.
Well, and Crooks is exhorting the Wilsonville team and the fans to get into it. A big 3rd down here and 12 to go. Just as they looked like they were going to get back in the game, they give Sherwood an opportunity on the big kick return. This is a big 3rd down, Fletcher.
3rd down and 13 for Sherwood. They need to get the ball just about to the 12-yard line. And it looks like we have a timeout by Sherwood taken by Greg Lawrence. So we will jump out to break, take it as well. 6 minutes, 8 seconds left in the third quarter. Sherwood threatening again, leading 27-7 here on the PlayOn Sports Network.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
And back live after the Sherwood timeout. It's 3rd down and 13 for the Bowmen offense after the 68-yard kickoff return from Joseph Balfour to put the Bowmen offense in a very good position. 1st down and 10 at the 22. Wilsonville's defense has stepped up nicely. 2 plays for -2 yards. And it's 3rd down and 13. Flag will come out. And It is a false start on Sherwood.
Well, and you can see Greg Lawrence across the way, not happy at all. So they come out on 3rd down. Clearly they're a little bit disoriented. He calls a timeout. They get the play set up, sends them back out on the field for a 3rd and 12, and right out of the chute they get an illegal procedure. So that is definitely not what Sherwood's coaching staff was looking for coming out of the timeout, and now they've complicated it with a 3rd and 17.
Balfour will go under center. Hand it off straight up the middle to, I believe that's Mickey Schaefer, and it is. But the center of that Wilsonville defense, including Gunnar Pullman and Cooper Whitaker, will stop Sherwood, so it'll be 4th and very long, 18 yards to go for the Bowmen.
Well, and something I'm seeing on the Wilsonville defense is a little bit of fight. Gunnar Pullman trying to get the crowd fired up, and they recognize that this now is a big 4th down. Stop Sherwood here, and really you avoid what could have been disastrous, because after the long kick return and great field position, to be able to stop the Bowmen here would be real big for Wilsonville.
4th down and 18. They'll fake the handoff, run the naked boot, and taken down way behind the line of scrimmage back at the 38. Nicely done there on the Wilsonville defense as Johnny Reagan, the all-everything defender for this team, takes down Balfour. Wilsonville ball at their own 38.
Well, that's a great job by the Wilsonville coaching staff, because that's something they obviously have picked up during scouting Sherwood. They've seen a tendency for something with 4th and long where the Bowmen go for it. They try to sneak Balfour out the backside on the naked boot. No chance, as Johnny Reagan was there and made a great open field tackle for the big loss, and now a turnover on downs.
Get the sense that maybe the momentum shifting a bit as Tanner Shipley will hand the ball off to Ryan Walsh, who stays on his feet, gets the ball to the 40-yard line before he's taken down by Reamer and company. So a gain of about 2 yards on the play.
You know, this is exactly why, as a coach, you never take for granted that you've scored enough points, because the momentum can change so quickly, and I think it has. Wilsonville's crowd's into the game. The defense has made a huge play. They've averted disaster after a big kick return, and now Tanner Shipley is pulling the trigger as the trigger man for the Wilsonville offense. Let's see what they can do to keep this momentum alive.
2nd down and 8 at the 40-yard line. Fake the handoff to Walsh, give it to Ute up the middle, just about a half a yard, maybe a yard. So Sherwood's defense standing up here through the first 2 plays of this drive, as they seem to have calmed down a bit with Tanner Shipley at quarterback. Sets up 3rd down and 7.
You know, the other thing that really makes me think about that 4th down play with Sherwood, you know, a lot of people know they really aren't going to throw the ball even when they've got 17 yards to try to pick up. And that's one of the things, as they get more towards the playoffs, they're going to need to throw the ball a little bit more.
Shipley takes the snap. He'll follow Walsh's lead blocker, cut it up the middle, run into and over his own man. He stays on his feet. He's inside the 40. They're not going to catch him. Tanner Shipley has done it again. Touchdown Wilsonville, and they've cut the lead to 13. Make it 14 pending the extra point.
Wow. Well, obviously, there is new life in Wilsonville. Tanner Shipley, unbelievable, and that's exactly what I talked to you about that Greg Lawrence had mentioned. Just when you think you've got him surrounded, man, you've got to finish on this guy, because he just keeps going.
Extra point is up and through from Jackson Chase. So just like that, after they struggled to find anything offensively in the first half, they put 14 points on the board here in the 3rd quarter, and it's 27-14. Sherwood still in the lead, but momentum clearly on the Wilsonville side, Jim.
No question about it, and this is why this rivalry, you know, this kind of spirit has been missing in this game. between these two teams over the course of the last 3-4 years. I feel that it's back. I mean, clearly, when you've got players the caliber of Shipley and Reagan, you're never really out of the game. And I think that's probably what Coach Gunther told the kids at halftime is that, guys, if we don't quit, if we stay in the game, if we continue to be relentless in our pursuit of trying to be as good offensively as we can, we're going to be in this game. And then he made a tactical decision to really change the way Sherwood defends the offense by putting Tanner Shipley in essentially at quarterback out of the Wildcat. It's entirely changed the second half of this game.
It certainly has, as going back deep for Sherwood. And this one just punched up right near midfield, and will be taken there, not taking their chances, kicking it deep to Christian Morris or Jordan Scubo again. So Sherwood takes over at their own 49-yard line. Nice defensive stand by Wilsonville as Sherwood got the ball deep in Wilsonville territory on the last drive, held them on fourth down, a big sack. So Wilsonville once again comes out looking to do more of the same as Joseph Balfour and the Sherwood offense look to try and regain some of the momentum that they had through the first 2.5 quarters.
Well, and the home crowd is back in it.
Handoff goes up the middle to Reamer. Reamer's got a lot of room to work with. Walsh is the only man who can catch him, and he takes him down at the 12-yard line, but a big gain on first down for the Bowmen.
Well, the Bowmen run the trap play with the fullback. You know, they give the ball to the halfback, the wingback so many times, and then they hit you with that quick-hitting trap play, this time to Reamer, who does a great job of getting downfield. And I'll tell you what, Walsh made an absolute terrific play. He did not give up on it because Reamer was wide open, looked for all intents and purposes he was going to score, but Walsh didn't give up, and he makes a touchdown-saving tackle.
First down and goal at the 7-yard line for Sherwood. Reamer in the backfield. Handoff will go to Morris, though, looking for his fourth score on the night, able to get the ball down close to the 3-yard line. Wilsonville's defense trying to stand strong.
Well, and Sherwood doing exactly what they need to do to get momentum back on their side, and that is some kind of answer where they clearly dominate the first half of the football game, have a fairly comfortable lead at halftime, but Wilsonville comes out with a little fire in their belly, change things up offensively, and now Sherwood would like an answer with their own score.
They'll hand it off to Reamer up the middle, pushing towards the goal line, but pushed back by Brax Ude, Gunnar Pullman, and others for Wilsonville, so it will be third down just inside the 1-yard line.
Well, and this was where the extra couple yards becomes really tough sledding. Wilsonville will put, 10 or 11 guys even in the box, maybe cover the wide receiver, but everybody else will be lined up in between the tackles. And this is where Sherwood, with that misdirection, a counter crisscross, a counter of some kind where they fake the ball to the fullback, maybe a rollout pass, tight end, something like that. Let's see what they dial up.
And they will drop it off on that reverse. Skirdahl takes it into the end zone untouched. So Sherwood answers two Wilsonville scores with a 1-yard touchdown run of their own. 33-14 pending the extra point, and it looks like they will go for 2.
Yeah, so they go back to just bread and butter. They run the little counter play. The quarterback will reverse pivot. It's a quick fake to the fullback on that dive on the blast, and then the halfback coming from the right side of the formation with the little handoff. And I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of timing and great execution on the part of the offensive line to make it that easy for a guy to get into the end zone.
And a 2-point conversion is good. Christian Morris converts it there on the outside. So it's 35-14 now, Sherwood on top. And we will jump out to break, come back with more after this. Minute 49 left in the third quarter. So Wilsonville seemingly stole momentum midway through the third quarter with a couple touchdown runs from Tanner Shipley. But Sherwood may have taken some back there as they go about 50 yards, capped off by a 1-yard Scott Skirdahl touchdown run. And it's 35-14, Bowmen on top of the Wildcats. Minute 49 left here in the third quarter.
Well, still plenty of time, depending on what the defense for Wilsonville can do to stop Sherwood. I'm just impressed the way the Wildcats got themselves back in the game, because we talked off air. It just didn't feel like they were in this thing. A little bit listless, lifeless, but boy, Tanner Shipley put a spark back in him.
And the pooch kick dropped momentarily by Colin Etcheberry, but he's able to fall back on it. And the Wilsonville offense comes out once again. We saw Nick Heiberger run the offense in the first half, really not get much going here on the last two Wilsonville drives. It's basically been exclusive Wildcat with Tanner Shipley taking the snaps, and be hard-pressed to believe that that would change right now. Shipley will take the snap as Heiberger is on the right side of that line. Brax Yude running out late to join him to his right side. Fake the handoff to Walsh. Shipley takes it up the middle, bounces it outside, bounces it back inside. He's got some room to work with. Back into the center of the field. They just cannot stop Tanner Shipley right now as he takes the ball down inside the 30 to the 28.
Well, he is just gashing the Sherwood defense, and I think part of it is that Sherwood recognizes that, man, when the ball is a direct snap to this kid who has got such great field position, vision, such great speed and power, Shipley's able to pick the hole and then just go, and it's really created a problem here for the Bowmen defense.
A 35-yard gain has moved the ball to the 27-yard line of the Bowmen. Fake the handoff. Shipley will once again take it up the middle, this time stuffed up in the center of that Bowmen defense. As in on the tackle, Nick Rollins and also Scott Skirdahl.
And one of the reasons that this is an effective way to go is that Shipley can throw the football. I mean, if he needs to throw, he can. But at this point, the challenge that Sherwood has really just not been able to answer is his distribution of the ball or keeping it.
Second down and 10. As the snap is bad, Shipley will have to just eat it back at about the 40-yard line. So not a good snap from Chase Hyde, really the leader of this offensive line. And so it will be third and very, very long as the ball moves back to the 40-yard line.
One of the things we haven't talked about is in a game like this, the ball boys are really important, because this is really the first game of the season where ball boys have had to make sure they keep a dry football. And I don't know if that had anything to do with that bad snap, but that's something that definitely can play some sort of impact in a game.
Absolutely. Third and 22 now, as Shipley will take the handoff up the middle. And met after he picks up 2 or 3 yards by 31 Zach Taylor, who we've called his name a few times tonight. So it'll be fourth down and long. And that is the end of the third quarter. 3 quarters in the books at Randall Stadium. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of action. Wilsonville trying to mount a comeback. They trail Sherwood 35-14 here on PlayOn Sports.
Get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Just 12 minutes left for Wilsonville if they hope to get back in this one and defeat Sherwood for the first time in 8 tries. Last time the Wildcats beat the Bowmen was 2004 in the 3A state championship game when both of these teams were members of the Tri-Valley League. Right now, Sherwood on top 35-14. Although, Jim, we saw Wilsonville really get things rolling offensively there in the third quarter.
Well, and at the end of this whole thing, you may look back and say, why the heck did it take us so long to figure out that we needed to make a change? Because I'll tell you, once they put Tanner Shipley in that backfield out of that Wildcat and had him essentially be a shotgun quarterback, boy, things offensively really have changed for Wilsonville.
So we have a momentary stoppage in play from the officials here.
Yeah, the other thing, Fletcher, that strikes me is a lot of teams want to think they can do that, but when you've got a kid as dynamic as Shipley, you can actually pull it off. And I mean, he's proven tonight he is the real deal. No question.
Certainly is, and he will take this snap on 4th and 18. Fake the handoff, will drop the throw. Pressure is coming, though. He'll look down the field trying to find his man. Christian Morris, though, there for his second interception of the night. And Tanner Shipley having a good game. Christian Morris having a better one.
Well, Christian Morris has done it both offensively and defensively. That's the second interception for Christian Morris, who we've called a lot offensively as he's packed the football, but on the defense, a really great job by Morris, again, not to let the receiver get deeper than him. Shipley broke the pocket and had a receiver, Walsh, but great defensive play by Christian Morris.
Morris read the ball well and was there to make the play, and he did. First down and 10, Bowmen. Handoff goes up the middle. No running room, though, for Mickey Schaefer.
Now, see, I'm impressed because you've figured out that it's a good idea to wait to make sure you know where the ball is, because my eyes were on Keegan Lawrence, who was going towards the Sherwood bench, because that's how good the fake was.
It's tough. I think it's certainly, people talk about the University of Oregon offense maybe being difficult to figure out where the ball is. I would argue that this Sherwood team, it's tougher to figure out where the ball is going. A 3-yard gain on first down, and the handoff this time will go up the middle once again as Shipley tries to rip the ball out, unable to, as Sherwood gets the ball across the 30-yard line to about the 31, and Jordan Scubo in on the carry.
So Scobo with the carry, and again, just another one of those guys that they can put in the backfield. They've got, I don't know how many backs they've got that they'd actually play, but they can go legitimately. They're going to have about 8 or 9 kids that they can put in the game that can run the ball, and because they're so good at the deception and the faking, these guys oftentimes get a lot of room to roam.
They had 11 touchdowns on the ground last week in a 77-0 victory over Park Rose, as a 4-yard gain on first down for the Bowmen. I want to say that almost 10 different players scored those touchdowns.
And they just, continue to reload. Greg Lawrence this week, I said, you are getting to the point where you've been around this game a long time. Any thoughts about what life after Sherwood football is going to be? And he told me that even though his son Keegan will be graduating in another year, he's going to stick around for 9 more. And speak of Keegan Lawrence,
off to the races he goes and steps out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Wilsonville. So a big pickup of 20 yards on second down gives the Bowmen a first down in Wilsonville territory.
And Greg Lawrence also knows that as a part of that youth football program they've built, he's able to see what he's got coming. And I think he just has a difficult time saying that within the next 8-9 years, seeing what he has coming up in the program, there isn't any place he'd rather be than coaching football at Sherwood High School.
He certainly has a juggernaut at the 5A level. There's no doubt about that. A team that lost 21 starters last year and yet are still chugging along like they don't even miss them. As another carry taken, picks up 3 yards on first down. And they just keep shuffling those backs in and out. Under 10 minutes left to go. Pleasure to have you along with us here on Play On Sports. Fletcher Johnson and Jim Patterson on a very wet and rainy night at Randall Stadium, although seems like maybe things have lightened up just a bit, but really the first bad weather we've seen on a Friday night here for football in the state of Oregon. They'll hand it off to Keegan Lawrence. Breaks an arm tackle. And down to the 35-yard line. Good enough for another first down.
Keegan Lawrence, like every other back we've seen tonight, done such a great job to see that cutback lane and then turn it upfield. It's one of the things that Sherwood in the backfield works on a lot, is trying to find that shoot. And once you see it, you've got to stick that foot in the ground and get upfield.
So first down and 10. Really probably one of the first games all year for Sherwood, with the exception of the Hermiston game in week 3, where their starters have had to play the majority of the game as they are such a powerful team. They'll hand it off on that reverse to Lawrence. Got a lot of room to work. Cuts it outside and taken down from behind, but not before he gets inside the 15-yard line of Wilsonville.
Christian Morris, Jordan Scobo, Scott Skirdahl, Keegan Lawrence,
Mickey Schaefer,
Jake Reamer. I mean, on and on and on. Where and how are you going to stop where it's coming from?
And we haven't seen Alex Barzy or Jack Matney tonight, both guys with touchdown runs for Sherwood as well. The running attack with multiple backs for this Sherwood offense, and a false start here on the right guard for Sherwood. Will push him back 5 yards. But after a push from Wilsonville in the third quarter to pull within 2 scores of this Sherwood team, the Bowmen have answered with a touchdown of their own and threatening once again.
And I will say this, for a rivalry game with as much as at stake, because really a lot of people think this is for the Northwest Oregon Conference Championship. The winner tonight probably going to be the champ. But you know what? The game's been played with good sportsmanship, not a lot of penalties. Very impressed.
Absolutely. Very clean game from both these teams as Balfour fumbles it, but is able to jump back on top of it. Second time he's done it tonight and been able to jump back on top of the ball. And that could be somewhat of an issue for this Sherwood team down the stretch. They have put the ball on the turf throughout the first 5, 6, 7 games of this season, and something you probably won't be able to get away with once you get into the playoffs.
Well, again, you know, there is some weather issues, and that's not an excuse, but it does make the quarterback-center exchange a little bit more difficult. And then again, you know, because they hand the ball off so many times, percentage-wise, they're probably going to put the ball on the ground more than some teams.
They will hand it off to Reamer. Almost a little fumble-rooski type play there, if you will, as Reamer just stood still and Balfour tucked it in his arms from behind him. But nice job by the Wilsonville defense to not bite on the fake. Only a couple yards gained on the play, and it'll be third down and very long for Sherwood.
Well, and the point you make, Fletcher, is a good one, because as they get towards the end of the season and now into the playoffs, the competition is going to get stiffer the farther up the ladder you get, and you can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes.
Handoff will go to the right. Lots of running room out there. Down inside the 10-yard line. Down close to the 8. About 5 yards short of the first down goes Jordan Scobo. So it'll be fourth down and call it 4 yards.
And you're not going to see the field goal kicker here. Sherwood will line it up and try to get the first down.
Balfour under center. He's got Lawrence as his wingback on the right, and he puts Scobo in motion. Timeout called by Balfour. That is the third and final timeout of the second half for Sherwood. And we'll jump out to break, take it as well. 5:54 left in the fourth quarter. Sherwood on top, 35-14. Back with more after this here on Play on Sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
Just under 6 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter at Randall Stadium on the campus of Wilsonville High School. The Bowmen have a 4th down and 4 inside the 10-yard line of Wilsonville, looking to put this game on ice. Greg Lawrence and Sherwood coming in to Randall Stadium for the 2nd time in a row in this rivalry and looking to extend their win streak over Wilsonville to 8 games dating back to 2005. Wilsonville crowd making some noise. Balfour will drop to throw. He looks out to the right. His men are covered. Throws it late across the middle. The ball intercepted in the end zone. Picked off by Cooper Whitaker. So Balfour threw it late across the middle on 4th down as the pressure was coming and Wilsonville takes advantage.
Well, he tried to throw the ball sprinting left back to the right side and more towards the inside of the field. Got absolutely no zip on the ball. I don't know if you noticed, but as he broke out sprinting left, he had a guy wide open in the flat. He just chose not to get the ball to him. And Wilsonville, again, a great job. They stand up and get the turnover, keep Sherwood out of the end zone.
So Cooper Whitaker with the defensive play for the Wildcats. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Wilsonville at their own 20-yard line. 5:47 left to play, trailing 35-14, and Tanner Shipley once again in the Wildcat. Although I don't know if we can really even call it a Wildcat anymore.
I think he's the shotgun quarterback.
Shipley takes the snap. He'll run it out to the near side. Able to get it outside, tries to cut it back into the middle, and eventually pushed out of bounds and taken down after a gain of 2 yards on the play.
Notice how many guys in white jerseys it takes to bring that kid down?
Yeah, there were a bunch of them over there.
I mean, that's one thing that I know the Bowmen probably worked on, is that it's almost like you got to make sure you get a net around that guy, because if you don't make a fundamentally sound tackle, he'll break a tackle, and then you're chasing him all over the field again.
And one of the toughest things probably to do, especially at the high school level, is not over pursue and allow the cutback. And we've seen Tanner Shipley do that on both of his touchdown runs, is cut back where nobody from Sherwood was there to make a play. Handoff this time goes to Walsh, and pressure on the far side getting up the field off that end from the Sherwood defense stops Walsh back behind the original line of scrimmage for a 4-yard loss back to the 18.
Well, and that's just an attempt to try to get out of the rhythm that Shipley's carrying the ball every play. So you give the ball to Walsh, hoping that he's going to be able to surprise the Bowman defense. That time, no surprise. They were there to make the stop.
So it's 3rd down and 12 now, and Adam Gunther and Wilsonville will take a timeout. Wilsonville going to dial something up here, 3rd down and 12, as they trail by 3 touchdowns, trying to find something to get them going once again, as it really seems like Sherwood and their defense have adjusted to having Tanner Shipley at quarterback as much as you can, because the kid has unbelievable athleticism, which has created a lot of big plays.
Well, I think defensively, Sherwood's figured out, okay, he's going to be the quarterback. It's going to be a direct snap, and now we've got to figure out defensively, okay, who are we going to put on Shipley exclusively to make sure, essentially, in a spy type of situation, hey, you've got that guy, 21, wherever he goes, you go. So they've been able to figure out that's where the ball's going. But even though they know he's good enough, they might not be able to stop it all the time.
They've done a good job so far here on this drive. We'll see if they can finish it out. 3rd down and 12 for Wilsonville. And as you look at what's left for both of these teams, really winnable games on paper for both of these sides, as Sherwood will face Sandy at home and then at Rex Putnam, which could be an interesting game, and then Wilsonville 2 away games at Liberty and at Sandy to wrap up the regular season. Late receiver coming on, as that's Chow. Handoff will go up the middle, though, to Walsh. As Heiberger was back in at quarterback under center, Walsh takes the handoff and really picks up maybe about a yard or a half a yard on the play. So sets up 4th down and long, and trailing by 3 scores. No decision here for Adam Gunther. You have to go for it even though you're inside your own 20-yard line.
Well, I think they're going to actually kick the ball, Fletcher, because you know, there's got to be a sense that this is essentially waving the white flag if we give Sherwood the ball after not converting. So I think with Reagan in punt formation, they probably will kick it away and hope the defense can stop them or force a turnover.
So Reagan will punt it away. Flag comes out as a Wilsonville receiver came on late. The kick will roll all the way down inside the 25-yard line, but a flag did come out. So it'll be a decision for Greg Lawrence and Sherwood, as it was it'll probably be an illegal substitution call on Wilsonville, as it was Victor Aporta who came on the field very late, actually even after the snap had occurred, running back towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, and that's unfortunate because Reagan actually got off a really good kick. The ball actually came to rest at the 25 of Sherwood. My guess is here, once the officials figure out what the penalty is and what the assessed penalty will be, Sherwood will have an option to take the ball where the ball went dead downfield or make Wilsonville kick it again.
It's a 57-yard punt from Reagan as the officials continue to discuss. Jim, I mean, we've seen a pretty good performance from this Sherwood team. What do you think about their chances? Are they the favorite in 5A as we get late into the season and eventually into the playoffs?
Well, you know, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And Sherwood, they've gone through Marist. They were able to beat Marist early in the season. They played Hermiston. That was really the first big test in their league. With this win, you know, there's really no reason to think they're not going to win the last two games. I think it would be more Sherwood making mistakes that cost them games than somebody outright beating them. So going into the playoffs, I see they're going to be undefeated. And at this stage, at this level, you know, they've played a very good Wilsonville team, ranked in the top 5, and dominated the game pretty much. I mean, Wilsonville has gotten back in it, and they haven't quit, and I give them a lot of credit for that. And they've got some really great players, including Tanner Shipley. But Sherwood right now, absolutely the team to beat for the state championship, in my opinion.
And I think when you look at what Sherwood's done throughout the course of the season, you mentioned the close games. Those are huge because the blowouts can at times become worse because you don't have challenges.
Yeah.
But Sherwood's had challenges throughout the course of the regular season, so they're battle tested going into the playoffs.
Which is one of the reasons why this game against Wilsonville was something they were looking forward to, because they knew it would be a test.
And talk about a big flip in field position as Reagan's punt goes out of bounds at his own 40-yard line. So instead of Sherwood taking over at their own 25, they take over at the Wilsonville 40 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth.
Wilsonville's going to make the playoffs. They're going to get in, and they are going to be a handful for teams. They really are. Because I think if they've had any question about whether or not they should maybe look at going to that Wildcat more often, I think tonight kind of sealed that, you know, when we do that, that's a pretty good deal. Pretty good way for us to go.
Yeah, it can create a lot of problems as Kevin Larkin, the backup quarterback, is now in for Wilsonville.
Logan Balashay in the backfield with the ball carry there, number 22 for Sherwood. Again, another one of those backs that they just bring into the game.
Plug them in and let him run. And you got the sense, too, that you wonder if the Wilsonville players knew the history going in, that they hadn't beaten Sherwood in 7 tries. They seem to come out, I don't know whether it's nervous or flat in the first half, but it took them a while to really get going, as it is once again, this time Jack Matney, the 170-pound senior who took the ball up the middle, is good enough for a first down.
Fletcher, I think that the way the game started with kind of that electric kickoff return by Morris, one play, touchdown, Wilsonville got knocked back on their heels. I don't think they expected that something like that was going to happen. And I think once it did, it really put them out of balance. The crowd was out of it right away. and really the first half was all Sherwood. They did come back, but they had to make some significant changes offensively to throw the Bowmen off on defense.
So it's 1st down and 10. Handoff will go up the middle once again to Matney, who picks up close to 10 yards, make it 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1, 2.5 minutes left on the clock running. And this one really all but in the books. Tanner Shipley's done all he can, but Sherwood's offense has been just too much throughout the course of this one here tonight, as another big-time rushing total will be put up by the Sherwood Bowmen in this game.
And as I watch the game, I'm thinking, you know, how many different plays did Sherwood really run? And I would be surprised if they ran more than maybe 20 different plays, but they keep running the same ones because the opponent can't stop it.
Handoff going right this time. He's got enough for the 1st down. And taken down as he gets inside the 15-yard line is Logan Ballershay.
Ballershay last year had great promise. Played in the backfield from time to time with Paul Dodson. But he suffered a knee injury last year, and he's still coming back from that. And then add on top of that the number of backs that Sherwood is able to play. It's tough to get carries if you're a Bowman back.
Handoff goes up the middle this time. Short gain on the play. Minute 24 left. Very impressed by what Sherwood has been able to do once again, coming to Wilsonville High School, quieting the crowd, and walking away with a victory here this evening. And it looks like they will just take the snap in the victory formation. Larkin make that Balfour comes to a knee. So likely one more of those. And this one will be in the books as the Sherwood fans on the opposite side of the field make some noise for their Bowmen, who will remain #1 in the state after a big victory over the Wilsonville Wildcats. 35 seconds left. Balfour takes the snap, goes down to a knee, and bit of chippiness there, but the game looks like it will be over as Adam Gunther not happy with one of his players.
Well, and I really respect what Adam Gunther is doing right there, because on an obvious kneel down, you don't want to see the game end that way, and he certainly is giving his D lineman an earful about how to end the football game, especially when the team is in that victory formation. There's really no need to get extra physical. The game is not in question, and I think that says a lot about Coach Gunther, wanting to lose with a bit of grace and respect. I think that says a lot about him and a lot about the program.
So this one's in the books at Randall Stadium. Wilsonville tried to put up a fight in the second half, but Sherwood walks away with a 35-14 victory. Post-game show comes your way next here on Play On Sports. Back live at Randall Stadium. We are in the books. Sherwood with the 35-14 victory over the Wilsonville Wildcats, and Jim will get a player of the game in just a moment, but what do you take away from this one initially as it has just gone final?
Well, Sherwood continues to dominate the series. They're now up 13-5, and this is 8 years in a row. The last time Wilsonville won a game was the state championship. We've said it before, in 2004. I know what Sherwood has got. I know they've had the ability to reload every season. I certainly expect or expected that they would play a very good game and come out fired up. You know, in these rivalry games, funny things can happen. You can get notes from the opponents. You can have invitations left to your funeral. All kinds of weird things happen, but the bottom line is it's decided on the field. Sherwood's solid. You know, they're my number one team in 5A until somebody beats them. Wilsonville, on the other hand, a good football team. They're going to cause problems for people in the playoffs, and they'll cause problems because they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to look more about how they can utilize Tanner Shipley, how they can maybe get the ball to Johnny Reagan a little bit more. He really didn't carry the ball maybe 5 times. We don't have the final stats, but not a whole lot of carries for Johnny. Maybe there was a reason for that. But Wilsonville's going to make some noise in the playoffs. And the Northwest Oregon Conference, because of these two teams, I mean, that's really how the state identifies the Northwest Oregon Conference, is by these two teams who year in and year out have great programs, Sherwood and Wilsonville. This was pretty much everything I would have expected in a classic rivalry game between these two schools.
And one of the old adages in any sport is that when you play a team a second time, it always is more difficult to beat them. We'll see if Sherwood and Wilsonville meet down the line in the playoffs. This is the only regular season meeting, obviously, between these two schools, and it goes to the Bowmen. Jim, who do you think? I think I know where you're going to go here, but who's your player of the game tonight?
Well, I think you have to look at, from start to finish, who was the player that had the biggest impact in the game. And based on the opening kickoff, I think he had 4 touchdowns tonight, 2 interceptions. Christian Morris, number 23 for the Sherwood Bowmen, my player of the game.
And really a comeback player this season after an injured knee kept him out all of last year, playing his senior year like it is his last. A big game for him tonight in a big rivalry that has been dominated as of late by the Sherwood Bowmen. That'll about do it from here for my analyst, Jim Patterson, and our engineer tonight, James Connor. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Pleasure to have you along. We'll talk to you next week here on Play On Sports.